Listen to the JT Sports Podcast on all podcasting platforms and leave a 5-star review.
The Miami Dolphins defeat the Pittsburgh Steelers 16-10 at home to improve to 4-3 on the season. Meanwhile, the Pittsburgh Steelers fall to 2-5, and their offensive struggles continue. Kenny Pickett did not play as bad as what the box score may indicate. He completed 32 out of 44 of his passes, throwing for 257 passing yards. He threw 1 touchdown and had 3 interceptions. Now, one of those 3 interceptions came early in this game, and it wasn't really Kenny Pickett's fault. The receiver tripped and fell, and it was an easy pick for the Miami Dolphins defensive back. But the last 2 interceptions that he threw on the last 2 drives of this game were absolutely egregious. And they really frustrated me because they were rookie mistakes. They were Kenny Pickett trying to force something that simply was not there. The interception by Javon Holland, I could see that coming from a mile away. I don't know what it was, but as soon as Pittsburgh got out of the huddle or they called the play, I immediately knew that it was going to Deontay Johnson and that it was going to be an interception. And it happened. And I just don't understand, if you're Kenny Pickett, why make that throw? If I could see it coming, I'm pretty sure you definitely could see it coming. I'm pretty sure the whole stadium knew where that ball was going and who it was going to. And then the last interception was even more outrageous. Why would you throw that, Kenny Pickett? Why? You knew doggone well Deontay Johnson was covered. You knew it. You knew Noah Igbenogany had that play shut down. Why would you still throw the ball, especially in that situation? And what makes it even more frustrating is that Kenny Pickett in this game put Pittsburgh in position to win, but then put Pittsburgh in position to lose right after. And it was a mixed bag. There was a lot of flashes. As a matter of fact, if you can take away the interceptions, Kenny Pickett played a really good game. He was getting the ball out quick. He was making pretty good decisions for the most part until the fourth quarter. And his accuracy was pretty on point for the most part, unless Pittsburgh was trying to take shots downfield, which is something that the Steelers offense has struggled to do all season, generating big plays downfield in the passing game. But Kenny Pickett's turnovers were just really frustrating for me. But I definitely feel like Kenny Pickett has improved every single week. And I did like what I saw despite the loss and despite the interceptions. I think that he's going to be fine. Everybody's so quick to label everybody a bust nowadays. Why can't nobody be patient? Kenny Pickett played like a rookie quarterback in this game. There was a lot of positives and a lot of negatives to be taken away. But mostly the things that I have issues with when it comes to Kenny Pickett should be able to be fixed with more repetition, experience. I think that the Steelers are going to be fine with Kenny Pickett at quarterback. However, this run game has to improve. And the Steelers have more success running the football outside of the tackles than they do running the ball in between the tackles. And the Steelers' run game is so bad that Matt Canada refuses to run the ball in 3rd and short situations. Do you know how many times Pittsburgh was put in 3rd and 3 and they decided to throw the football instead of running it? Do you know how many NFL teams would run the football in 3rd and 3 situations? Probably 80% of teams will run the ball. Pittsburgh can't. And that's really, really disappointing. And not only is it disappointing, but it's a big hindrance to the offense because you're in a 3rd and short situation. If you can pick up 3 yards, you easily move the chains. And you would think that the Steelers would have a easier time converting in third and short situations than they would third and long situations. But they're just as bad in third and long situations than they are in third and short. And their refusal to run the football on 3rd and 3 kind of tells us everything we need to know about the Steelers' running game and how much confidence Mike Tomlin and his coaching staff have in it. And I don't really think they have too much. And I don't care if Najee Harris got 17 carries. Shoot, he should have got more carries on 3rd and short. I don't understand that. You calling rollouts, you're calling all these passing plays, but yet it's 3rd and short, and you're going 2 and 7 because you don't want to run the football. That makes no sense. Even if the Pittsburgh Steelers are a bad running team, which they are, you still, if you play the analytics, should be able to do better than 2 and 7 in third down situations if you at least run the football there. I would like to believe that the Steelers could at least convert in third and 3 running the football 4 times out of 7. And maybe 4 out of 7 is giving them a little bit too much credit. Maybe 3 out of 7. But either way, the Steelers could have had so much success on 3rd down if they were a little bit more confident in running the football outside the tackles. Because running the football in between the tackles isn't working. They had a lot of success running outside the tackles. As a matter of fact, their best run plays of the night came when it was outside zone. So the run game still isn't there for Pittsburgh. The Dolphins defense, they weren't even really fully healthy. Like, they had like backup defensive backs playing, backup corners. And yet this Steelers offense still struggled. The offensive line, when you look at the offensive tackles, I mean, everybody goes off PFF, but the PFF scores are so deceptive when it comes to determining how good the Steelers' offensive line is, because they get the ball out so quick and so fast, the offensive linemen don't have to pass protect for that long. This offensive line isn't good. However, they played good enough to give the Steelers chances to win this game in the passing game. At the end of the day, the Steelers, how far they go this season is going to be heavily dependent upon Kenny Pickett. The schedule is too tough for the Steelers to be relying on their defense to carry them throughout the season. That's not going to be a winning formula for Pittsburgh this year. If Pittsburgh is going to be able to make it to the postseason this season, this offense has to do better than putting up 10 points per game. They got to be able to at least score 20. And for Pittsburgh, you look at how their defense played in this game. The Dolphins scored on their first 3 offensive possessions. I thought this thing was going to be the Buffalo Bills part 2. I thought the Dolphins were going to come in and blow out Pittsburgh after how they started this game, up 13-0. But Mike Tomlin and Terrell Austin, the defensive coordinator for Pittsburgh, did a very good job at making adjustments after that first quarter. The defense played much better. They only gave up 3 points after that, and they were really phenomenal at keeping the Miami Dolphins out of the end zone. There were a lot of good drives that the Miami Dolphins had. And if you watch this game, the Dolphins offense was pretty much getting whatever they wanted in the middle of the field. For the Steelers defense, the pass rush, for some reason, couldn't get home. Tua was really elusive in this game. And they were getting the ball out really, really fast. I mean, the first quarter, it was boom, 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 boom. I was like, oh my goodness. But the Steelers were able to settle in. And I want to give a shout out to Terrell Edmonds, because he actually played a pretty good game. He made a couple of big plays. He had that big pass breakup on Tyreek Hill, which it looked like Tyreek Hill was going to score because it looked like Levi Wallace got burnt. So good job on Terrell Edmonds making that play there. He did have a drop interception, which you would have loved him to have, but you got to give him props for being in position to at least make a play on the ball. And since we're talking about drop interceptions, I mean, the Dolphins got really fortunate that the Steelers defense had a case of the Butterfingers tonight. Because there were 4 interceptions that the Steelers left on the field in this game. And if the Steelers would have capitalized and they were able to actually come down with some of those interceptions, they probably would have won this game. Because even though their offense struggled for pretty much the whole entire game, if you give the Steelers offense good field position, they can at least get in the field goal range, and they got no problem putting 3 points on the board with Chris Boswell. But the Dolphins, offensively in this game, in the second half, I was a little bit disappointed. I thought that this offense had a lot of things that were going their way that they kind of shied away from in the second half. They weren't attacking the middle of the field as much, and the run game wasn't as good as what it was in the first half of this game with Raheem Mostert. But overall, the Miami Dolphins, I still think that this is a team that I'm pretty high on. Before Tua got injured, I thought that this was the 3rd best team in the AFC behind the Buffalo Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs. And with how Tua looked in this game, the Steelers defense is really good. Okay, I think that Tua, for his first game back, this was a pretty good performance on his behalf. And as he continues to settle in and get more comfortable in this Mike McDaniel offense, this Dolphins team is going to continue to get better. And I think that this is a Dolphins team that by the time we get to Thanksgiving, they're going to be playing their best football. And they're probably going to be in that contention for one of those top 4 seeds in the postseason, even though they do have to catch up to the Buffalo Bills. But I do think that they can do that. I don't think that the Buffalo Bills are going to go the rest of the season without losing a couple more games. I think they can at least slip up and lose 2 or 3 more. So I do think that the Dolphins are going to have an opportunity to catch up in this division with the Bills. But for the Pittsburgh Steelers, you got the Philadelphia Eagles coming up. And after seeing how that run defense performed in this game, God help us all. And after seeing how that offense looked, it looks like this might be another tough game for Pittsburgh. But at the same time, this is a Steelers team that always plays their best ball when it seems like their backs are against the wall. And Kenny Pickett did have a couple of good drives in this game. In the second quarter, he led a 13-play, 86-yard touchdown drive to George Pickens inside of the red zone. He also had a good scramble on 3rd and long that converted and kept the drive alive for Pittsburgh. So I just think that with Kenny Pickett, he just had the kind of game that you expect from a rookie quarterback. Mixed bag, showed a lot of flashes. Also had a good amount of mistakes there that costed the Steelers this game. Because you can't deny and say that Kenny Pickett didn't have the Steelers in position to win this game. Because he did. He just unfortunately put Pittsburgh in a situation where they lost the game because of his costly interceptions trying to make plays that were not there to be made. But let me know how you guys feel about the Miami Dolphins defeating the Pittsburgh Steelers 16-10 and improving to 4-3 on the season.